This is Alex. Alex just bought his first home. It's a small but beautiful place in a quiet neighborhood. After years of saving, stressing, and watching home prices climb, he finally did it. He locked in a 6.4% mortgage rate. The lender smiled, shook his hand, and said something that made Alex feel like he had won. Honestly, we're not making much on this deal. And Alex believed it, because that's what most people believe, that the bank makes money slowly, over time, through interest. But here's what Alex doesn't know. Before he even makes his first payment, before he even gets his keys, the bank has already made thousands of dollars from his loan. Money he will never see. Money that was never clearly explained. Money that didn't show up in a way he could understand. And today, we're going to break down exactly how that happens. Not with complicated finance jargon, but step by step, so you can see how the system actually works. Most people think the mortgage game is simple. Find the lowest interest rate, lock it in, done. But that's not how the system is built. Behind every rate you see, there's another number you don't. It's called the base rate, the rate lenders actually have access to. Think of it like wholesale pricing. Just like a store buys a product cheaper and sells it higher, lenders do the same thing with money. So if the base rate is, let's say, 5.8%, and you're offered 6.4%, that gap, that difference, that's not random. That's profit. And over the life of a loan, even a small difference becomes massive. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars. And the key detail most people miss is this. You were never shown the base rate. You were only shown the marked up version. So while you're comparing lenders, you're often comparing different versions of marked up prices, not the true starting point. And that changes everything. Mortgage lenders don't just sell loans. They sell certainty. They sell comfort. They sell speed. Because buying a house is emotional. You're under pressure, deadlines, competition, fear of losing the deal. And in that moment, you're not negotiating like a strategist. You're reacting like a buyer who just wants the process to end. And lenders know this. That's why they don't overwhelm you with the full breakdown up front. Instead, they simplify the conversation. Here's your rate. Here's your monthly payment. Here's what you need to sign. And your brain does the rest. Because once the monthly payment feels acceptable, you stop asking deeper questions, even if that payment is hiding thousands in extra cost. Now let's talk about something that sounds smart, but often isn't. Paying extra money up front to buy down your interest rate. On the surface, it feels logical. You pay now, so you save later. But here's the problem. Most people don't keep their mortgage long enough. Life changes. Jobs change, people move, they refinance, and suddenly, that long-term saving never happens. So what looked like a smart move becomes a wasted one. You paid thousands up front for a benefit you never fully used. And the lender? They already collected that money immediately. No risk, no waiting. Then comes the day, the closing table. A stack of documents, dozens of pages, numbers everywhere. And by this point, you're mentally done. You just want the keys. So you sign, and sign, and sign again. But buried in those documents are layers of charges. Fees that sound official, necessary, standard. But here's the truth. Many of them are flexible. Some are inflated. And a few exist simply because most people won't question them. Processing, administration, coordination, all labeled differently, all justified professionally, but rarely explained clearly. And because everything is happening fast, you don't negotiate, you accept.
There's another piece most people never think about. After closing, your loan doesn't just sit with the lender. It moves. Behind the scenes, it becomes part of a much bigger system. Loans are grouped, packaged, sold, transferred. And in that process, value is created. Not slowly, but instantly. Which means the lender doesn't need to wait 30 years to profit. They can profit almost immediately. And once that happens, everything changes. Because now your loan isn't just your loan anymore. It's an asset in a larger financial network. Most people believe putting more money down gives them power. And sometimes it does. But sometimes it removes leverage. Here's why. When a lender sees a highly qualified borrower, strong credit, large down payment, low risk, they know something important. You're unlikely to walk away. Which means they don't need to compete as hard for your business. Ironically, the safer you look, the less aggressive their offer might be. Because from their perspective, you're already an easy yes.
There's one behavior that changes everything, but almost nobody does it properly. Comparison. Not just checking two lenders, but forcing them to compete, line by line, fee by fee, rate by rate. Because when lenders know they're being compared seriously, their behavior changes. Margins shrink, fees adjust, options appear. But when you don't create that pressure, you get the default version. And the default version is rarely the best one.
So what does control actually look like? It's not about becoming an expert overnight. It's about asking better questions, slowing the process down just enough to see what's really happening. It's about understanding that the first offer is rarely the best, the easiest path is rarely the cheapest, and the most confident voice in the room is not always on your side. When you shift from passive to active, even slightly, the entire dynamic changes.
Alex thought he had won. And in one sense, he did. He got the house. But the real game wasn't just getting approved. It was understanding the system behind the approval. Because once you see how it works, you stop playing it blindly. You stop accepting everything at face value. And you start making decisions that protect your money, not just your monthly payment. Because the truth is, the mortgage system isn't designed to be obvious. It's designed to feel simple while staying complex underneath. But now, you see it differently. And once you see it, you can't unsee it.